So, my name is Belarus for those who don't know me, and those who do know me, well, screw them. I will call this Ruthless Review Part 1 Weapon Usage, where I will compare my favorite RPG games that have very little correlation with one another for reasons unknown to anyone. So do not expect much quality from this, because I am doing it more for fun than anything else, so let us cringe together. I will be rating these games, adding and redacting points until the winner is announced, and I am fully biased as to which game I do want to win, but I mean, who knows. I may yet surprise myself with that not being the case. And now glare at my great Photoshop skills, where I spent 20 minutes looking for how to make a goddamn triangle until I asked ChatGPT on how to do it. So, there will be a Cyberpunk 2077, a dystopian imagined future of what our own reality could be, with lots of correlations, of course, with today's time, since Baba Yaga does come from our time. Then there is Red Dead Redemption 2, a western blast from the past, cowboys and revolvers flying and flailing about. Basically the closest of the four to real-life struggles, and also one of the most realistic games presenting horses shitting. Then there is Warframe, a full sci-fi addition to the gaming world with martial arts synthetic robots that are trying to save the solar system from God knows what. Because the story makes zero sense to anyone and everyone enjoys it because it is an absolute badass in that non-existing storytelling. And then, of course, there is The Witcher 3. About white-haired ex-Superman and Warhammer fan that is fighting the forces that can travel through space and time and somehow wins. Because he has cat-like reflexes. So, the score. -1 is bleh. Nothing special. -2 is not good, basically for bad quality. -3 is getting into the really bad territory. -4, hopefully I won't give that score, and -5 is just completely game breaking, which I do not think there is anything like that in these games, or at least I haven't encountered them after hundreds and hundreds of hours of playing. So +1 is okay, better than normal. +2 would be actually good implementation. +3 will be holy shit, that's good. +4 are the things that make me cry, which doesn't really happen. And +5 would be better than sex, so which I forgot all about, so anything is better than that. And 0 is 0, which is irrelevance incarnate. Now, before we go into the melee weapons, I want to add +1 point to the Cyberpunk for weapons showcasing the first time you equip them and pull them out, since it is very interesting addition to the game and it just looks plain as cool. Now, it's all about knives. In Cyberpunk, knives are actually cool, and you can throw them and use as range weapon for full stealth or just hack and slash. And there are nice animations when it returns. No flying animation, unfortunately, just skips pixels till it hits the target. But I will give it +1 points because it does function well and it looks fucking awesome. And man, oh man, Red Dead Redemption 2 knife fighting is really something else. Basically stabs in the chest, slitting throats, stabs in the chin, there is no mindless swinging. It's an actual proper knife fight, where you also have throwing knives that are a separate weapon and a consumable, but knives nonetheless. There's some good physics behind knife fighting here, so I will give this 3 points, definitely, because it is awesome. Now the Warframe, of course, goes over the top with movements, swinging, and if you have mods, of course. But knives, as knives, are really nothing special. You generally can't throw them, and there is no cool animation while holding them or swinging them, outside, obviously, special effects like damage modifiers. So, all in all, it's just mild combat with them. Nothing special again, so 0 points here. And The Witcher has no knives, the third game at least, which is the dumbest thing ever. Since if it was done like in Red Dead Redemption 2, it would have been one of the possibly coolest things ever in the game, so -1 points for this kind of an abuse of mainly melee fighting game. So, fuck that. Now, axes. Same as knives, in Cyberpunk axes are also cool, since you can throw them, do stealth with them. Hack and slash has nice animation before throwing, opposed to when returning, same as knives. They're nothing special overly, but are nice addition to the game, so +1 points for that, because why not? Now for Red Dead Redemption, different from knives, obviously axes, they're only throwing axes, which are nice, but you can't use them for an actual fighting, which would have been amazing, probably even better than knife fighting, so 0 points here, since throwing them is nice, but again, you cannot actually use them for melee fighting. And axes in Warframe, I mean, there is absolutely nothing notable with axes here. Just a massive or small sharp cleavers that are completely meh. But they do exist, so 0 points for this. Interestingly, The Witcher has axes that are pretty much useless compared to swords. Same as other weapons that are also useless, but it exists and can be used if you really wish to do so, so sure, 0 points for this. And since we are talking about weapons that can be thrown, the Warframe actually has a few that are okay, nothing special. They fly off, maybe bounce a little bit, and then return, so to be thrown again. I mean, the peak of amazing play in here, obviously, so basically 0 points for this. So, Cyberpunk is a complete disappointment with katanas. They may look cool overall, but that is about it. The whole fighting consists of swing from the left, swing from the right, and that is it. If you have a talent or the katana has a perk, you can change it so you can swing from above or dashing forward, and swing from the left if you're dashing backwards while defending. So the game that has samurai in titles everywhere has very poor katana usage, so -1 points for this. Traumatic experience. No, I mean, there is block, there is parry, but it is pretty much useless overall. You do not ever need to touch it. You can play the game without it, and it's bad, even, yeah. Red Dead Redemption has no katanas, which is expected because I do not see any kind of swords in Wild West outside of a funny gimmick for gameplay, so yeah, 0 points for this, because sure. Warframe has katanas that are basically same as everything else, so whatever. You swing, it kind of hits. If something is higher level, it does nothing with no mods, does no damage to the environment, leaves no marks, so it just exists to be buffed up and swung from left to right and opposite. I mean, yeah, 0 points. The Witcher has no katanas, but it has swords, so it gets a pass on this one. Yeah, 0 points. So Cyberpunk actually has one single sword, and it is added as an homage to The Witcher, but functions exactly the same as katana, so it's pretty much blah. So 0 points because it's not one of the main weapons for the game, but it does exist, even if for nothing else than just to be a interesting gimmick. Red Dead Redemption has no swords for the same reason as katanas, I mean Wild West, so 0 points, fair enough. Warframe actually has a bunch of swords. They all pretty much are meh without mods, and here I have a beefed up sword that actually works, and pirouettes as he swings are cool, but we will talk about mods down the line. So this is 0 points for basic weaponry having almost nothing special to it. And finally, the King of Swords, The Witcher. Dancing with swords, parrying works fine, fast and strong attacks, fast for quick damage and strong ones. Even unbuffed with talents can be used to break shields and blocks. And if the enemy is far away, you can just thrust forward with it by default. So all in all, the sword fighting works quite well here, I would imagine, since the game was constructed to be used with the sword, so I will give plus 2 points for sword fighting in a sword game where everything is about swords. And boy oh boy, the pain in the fucking ass, the fist fighting. Cyberpunk, the game that is all about augmentations, has the pissiest, poorest fisting ever. I mean, left, right, it's basically like a toddler throwing temper tantrum and can throw a hook from time to time, so it's amazing how bad it actually is. So, you know, there are some effects if you pick up different fists as a cyberware, but bad is goddamn bad. So minus 1 point on this. And boy oh boy again. I mean, this is basically 180 turnaround. In Red Dead Redemption, I mean, you can swing, you can kick, you can tackle, you can disarm, you can wrestle, beat while on the ground, choke to death, you can block and swing again, so the whole fist fighting is all around amazingly done in this game, so plus 3 points for Red Dead Redemption 2 on fighting barehanded. So man oh man, Warframe, basically the martial arts, ninjas, synthetic robots cannot use fists to fight. I mean, sure, there are melee fist weapons, but no actual fist fighting. There are lots of jumping around, pirouetting, wannabe ninjas, and zero fucking hand-to-hand combat. I mean, complete wastage of potential on an account of shooting slash fighting game, so minus 2 fucking points for this. I mean, I would have expected that they would add fist fighting. The game would grow so much if there was boxing in the game, an actually proper one, or even more advanced hand-to-hand combat where you could actually add mini quests to add boxing, where they could add rings in the relay, or the dark market boxing led by corpos in hidden locations where you could also bet on the fights like with creds like for index missions. So I mean, there is so much that could be added to the quality of the game if they would add any form of actual martial arts to the game, but you know, maybe I will bitch about it more some other time. Fucking hell. And here, of course, you can see my amazing editing skills. I am so amazing that here in the top left corner is what I look when you close your eyes. So The Witcher has fist fighting that is absolutely useless in actual fighting. Against fantasy animals slash beasts, completely useless. Against normal beasts, if they're low level enough level, they work a little bit. Same goes for human enemies. But against the same level human enemies, they are more than completely useless. The only part where hand-to-hand combat is useful is with bare-knuckle quest fighting, and since the trailer puts Geralt as an absolute killing machine, weapons or not, hand-to-hand too, I will give this -1 point since they messed it up, same as with knives. And I guess I should mention the Cyberpunk's Mantis Blades and Monovire, which has been added to the game down the line. To basically please the players that were asking for them since they saw them in the trailer, and after they were boasting it up like the second coming of Jesus. I mean, they are just the most basic melee weapons, adding nothing really to the game, so outside of them just existing in the game, they are nothing special, just hack and slash with different animations, yeah, sure. But okay, 0 points since it is added into the game. And the last thing I want to cover here are the explosions, or that is the grenades. Now, for Cyberpunk, another disappointment, of course, as expected from Cyberpunk. Explosives in Cyberpunk are just basic, not that I was expecting anything extraordinary, but still, it's just so stupidly okay. Basic exploding bomb is fine, nice explosion, damage is also okay, but nothing over the top. Incendiary grenades are also fine, it just expels a lot of fire and burns enemies with the debuff. I mean, EMP grenades or electrical grenade, whatever, is okay, no real damage against human enemies, but works well against robots and cars, but still meh. The laser grenades are also fine, not really good damage, but it can stop enemy while it lasts. The chemical grenades are just green cloud, it does chemical slash poison damage, but nice thing is that it does damage to you too if you enter it. There is the Ozob grenade. It also has like a default explosion, but just in the end is a normal grenade, more of a gimmick that you get from the clown with a grenade nose from a quest. A recon grenade is basically just a ping on all of the enemies, which is completely useless since I have ocular implants here that can detect all the enemies around you. Flash bomb is also quite useless, especially in the end game where it matters very little if you are hit or not, but it does blind enemies or at least lowers their accuracy significantly. Smoke grenades is what is supposed to be. It creates smoke and enemies can't see you through it, but you can see them if you have proper cyberware. Sub-0 points since it's all okay, just okay, and nothing more than that. And man, oh man, the water explosions are a complete failure. I mean, water movement after the grenade explodes is just below basic. While most other grenades do not even explode underwater, which is beyond stupid that such technologically developed society can't make waterproof bombs, and animations are just horrendous, so -1 points to that. And man, oh man, here we are, 180 degrees again for Red Dead Redemption 2, of course. Now, the dynamites in Red Dead Redemption are cool, nothing overly special, but they work and can actually set environment on fire, can open and break doors, break windows, and the explosion actually interacts with the environment to some degree at least, so it can also knock you out. And it doesn't just explode under your feet and the numbers fly around for the damage that it did, but it can actually thrash you around and throw you and actually kill you easily. And then there are Molotovs, of course, and they actually set environment on fire, and the goddamn fire spreads through the environment, through the houses, through the enemies, through absolutely everything that can burn. And we have a water. Of course, the dynamite actually explode underwater in this game, as opposed to how it is in Cyberpunk, where every single bomb is supposed to explode at least and do some form of explosion underwater, but it doesn't. Where in Red Dead Redemption it does, and when it does explode, it moves the water properly. It has good shockwave, good water flying around, and if it's in the river, it makes it less drastic since the water is moving. And of course, you can fish with the dynamite as you normally would if you throw it into the water and there are fishes and it would bubble up and you can just gather them up. The Molotovs, of course, stop burning underwater, which is okay, which is understandable and expected. So here I will give +2 points for the environment, fire spreading and explosion interaction with it, and +1 points for water physics when there is an explosion in it, so +3 points in total. And amazingly, Warframe has no actual bombs. Has lots of explosive weapons, but 0 fucking bombs. Enemies have bombs, but Thanos do not. So same as for fist fighting, -1 points for lack of ingenuity. Now for The Witcher, it's quite simplistic with explosives. The explosion bomb is simple, makes fire, and there you go, that's basically it. The fire one that leaves scorching marks on the surface, I mean, it is nothing amazing. Different dust bombs that are used for different types of enemies to weaken them or damage them more. Few green clouds, some transparent ones, but that is about it. The only cool one is the freezing bomb. Graphically, it's nothing over the top, but it is somehow stupidly interesting. And of course the goddamn water, which has 0 interaction with the bombs. They go in and that's it. You wasted the bomb. It does literally nothing. Which for most bombs I can understand since they are all handcrafted and would definitely not be waterproofed, but it's still disappointing. I expected at least the frozen one would freeze the water, if nothing else, but nothing. So I will not deduct points here since again they are handcrafted with lousy materials, so it is expected for water to mess with the ignition of powder or whatever it is used, so 0 points here. And in the end I give all the thanks to me, and maybe also me. So like, subscribe, and of course, the most important thing you have to remember, do not talk about the Fight Club.